Hey, Brandon. Uh,
Yes.
People are saying that this may be the most unpredictable draft in that unpredictability. You ready for it?
Yeah.
Now I'm wearing glasses.
Whoa.
No one could have predicted.
Hot boy song.
Ho ho, baby! Ladies and gentlemen, it's Friday. Friday. Gonna get down on Friday.
Friday. Gonna make some eggs on Friday. Friday. It's my favorite movie about the hood.
Party. Another edition of the Grossi Perna Show featuring Tom Grossi, Brandon Perna, or as the cool kids call it, GPS.
And as the freaking nerds call it, Grossi Perna Show.
Yeah.
Which camp are you in? Cool camp or nerd camp? Oh man, nerd camp? That would do well.
I would go to nerd camp.
Hell yeah.
I would go there.
I would go there and beat up the nerds. Except then, oh man, because even the nerds are stronger than me, and I can't even beat up the nerds.
It's okay, buddy. That's why we just get along, and we're here to navigate you to friendship.
Beats me up.
What? Whoa. I didn't know. Didn't lay a finger on my butterfinger.
I'm Johnny Depp, and Tom is the
No, I am not Amber Heard. I am not. I was not an Aquaman, and I'm not going to be an Aquaman too.
Tom pooped in my chair, everybody.
Okay, that maybe could have happened, but it was a mistake. You said try it out, and regardless, we're here, ladies and gentlemen. The Friday before the draft, we finally made it. Finally. It feels like it's weird because I've just got exhausted looking at all these players and like going through all the mocks and things like that. And then I talked to Brett Coleman yesterday and it felt a lot better. It got me excited again. And then I woke up and I was like, all right, we still got a week to go of this thing. Like I'm excited for the draft to finally be here. Like that's what here. Flatulence going to give you noogies.
Yeah, the draft to me is the actual end of the NFL season. That's when I see the ending point.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
There you go.
Yes. Rainbow Kitten surprise. That'll get your Friday going.
Yeah, they're kind of like a softer, modest mouse. That makes a little bit of sense.
I agree with that analysis. Absolutely.
Yes.
I do. We got a lot to talk about, and there's a lot of random things to talk about. We'll obviously get into the draft and talk about the unpredictability. We'll take a look at some boards and compare and say, oh, what is the consensus here? We'll take a look at what teams might trade up, go get QBs, etc. There was an NFL mock draft that got put out today that they're saying 4 QBs are going to go in the first round. And I was like, I mean, that'd be fantastic. I would love that. Push them all down.
Yeah, you want quarterbacks, Tom, and what? A run on edge?
We could use that, but yeah, it's deep for edge. So yeah, I would say like offensive line, like that'd be fine. You know, like it's the tackles. We're pretty okay in that area, though we could use a right tackle, but that's fine. But I'm thinking that if they go up and you have teams trading up the whole 9, like yeah, like the Saints. If the Saints actually do that, I don't think they would trade up for a QB tackle, maybe. But if they trade up, that eliminates 2 picks right off the bat and potentially pushes the wide receivers down. I'm all about it. I am all about it.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like, the Saints could trade up, but we literally don't know what kind of player they would be targeting. Correct. That's why this draft is so unpredictable, because they might make a move for a receiver, they could make a move for a tackle, and they could make a move for a quarterback. We have no idea how half of the NFL teams who might be in the market for quarterbacks have evaluated these QBs. I think we can talk a little bit about Malik Willis later today and Trey Lance, who went 3rd overall. And I think they have some similarities in terms of college production, with Malik Willis having a more trustworthy resume. So I think having him go as high as 2 isn't as crazy as people think. Von Miller is being sued. Mike Tyson punched a dude on a plane. Things got a little crazy on sports internet yesterday. But before we get into it, Tom, we started this show. I said we should do a nerd camp. I did not go to high school, middle school with you.
I thought you were going to say in general, and I was like, oh. Like, I didn't go to high school or middle school.
Or middle school. I can barely read. What was your crew in high school? Where were you hanging out, or who were you associating with? Because, like, I think people think back on high school, and I think everybody's high school is a little different. You got jocks, you got nerds, you got goth kids, you got skate. Like, I never felt like it was that, like, divided. I feel like people kind of got along more than maybe is perceived. But who were you in high school? I'm just a little curious now.
So here's the thing. It depends on when you're looking in high school. I hated high school, by the way. Hated it.
Yeah,
by
me
far.
too.
Absolutely despised high school and everything about it. I had like a very small core group of friends that, like, I hang out with them outside of school, but then I would have another group of friends that I would play football with every single day. So like that was basically the only crew that I rolled with. Like, we do that. We play manhunt in the park, like at night, like that was the kind of stuff. So if the descriptions haven't given you enough evidence, I was not one of the cool kids, not even the slightest, because I didn't have these cool glasses. So yeah, no, there was not a cool bone in my body. Also, you've seen my hair back from like 2015. Imagine that on just like a skinnier, smaller person. It's not good. Basically, my town is known for having a heroin problem, and I fit the bill of potentially doing heroin, even though I never did. How about you, Brandon?
Well, you were mentioning hair. My hair was, I'm trying to find a photo closest. Okay, here's a good one. Now, it wasn't this drastic, but this is, damn it. Hold on. I got to share the screen.
That's all right. It's all right. It's all right. You take your time.
This should give people a good idea of who I thought I was in high school. That was basically my hair for 4 years. Not as high as that. Maybe I would say a little more stylish, but yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, I've shown this before, like on Q&As before, but like, this is the kind of stuff. We'll talk about football eventually. So wait, hold on. You were a goth kid?
No, I considered myself a skater.
Oh, that's why you recommended the Tony Hawk thing to me.
Oh yeah, I thought I was going to play in the NFL until I decided that I was going to be a professional skateboarder. Until I decided I was going to be one of the biggest directors in Hollywood. That was my trajectory.
Okay.
I was way too confident in my abilities. Now I got good. I was good at. I could get good at doing stuff, but I lived in a world in my head that was probably very unrealistic, and I had nobody to say, "You're not that good. Work harder." So,
okay, all right, that's valid. Here, I got a little. Again, I've shown this. He was a skater boy. Yes, Avril Lavigne was singing about Brandon Perna.
Storm into the party like my name is El Nino.
Hanging out the back of my Camino. Yeah, I get you. This is what I did in my free time in high school. I made a lot of home movies. So like, this was me as Jack Sparrow.
Johnny Depp, perfect segue. It's full circle.
It's gone full circle. Yep. I got Indiana Jones, James Bond, The Wrestler, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings. It goes on and on. So,
welcome to All Pro, Jory. Yeah.
All right, Perno, let's get some of the crazy news stories out of the way first.
Yeah, let's jump in this.
Can we talk about Mike Tyson first?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So Mike Tyson beat the crap out of a guy on an airplane, which, by the way, what airline was that? Their first class looks very nice. I've never flown first class before. It looked very nice. But there was a guy who was recorded, and he was like harassing Mike Tyson, and he just seemed like an overall douche. And
douche.
then it like showed there was a whole bunch of marks all over his face, and then it showed like Mike Tyson beating the crap out of him. Yeah. And I think the internet collectively goes, yeah, he deserved it.
Yeah, because like you got just the clip of it was like Mike Tyson reaching over this seat, like just punching this dude.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, like later in the evening, the full video comes out and shows like the kid. Well, he's 36 years old. He looks like he's like 22, but it's this 36-year-old dude just harassing Mike Tyson.
Correct.
And at some point, Mike Tyson has had enough, punches him. And then I saw TMZ post an article. This guy who has been harassing Mike, his name is Melvin Townsend. He has been convicted of fraud, grand theft auto, burglary, and trafficking stolen property. So yes, he totally deserved it. Basically, he and Mike Tyson have both been in jail, and Mike handled his business. I mean, it takes a lot of confidence too, I think, to just punch somebody on the plane, any plane.
Okay, first of all, his name is Melvin. First of all,
his name is Melvin.
That's strike 1 through 3.
Yeah.
Second of all the people to harass in a metal tube at 30,000 feet where there is no escape, the last person on that list is Mike Tyson. Why? Why would you ever think that that was a good idea of like, I am going to poke the proverbial bear?
Yeah.
And the guy who is known of beating the crap out of people and biting off ears. That's the guy I'm going to mess with.
He's literally bitten a dude's ear off.
Just what? Like, I haven't seen like someone, there you go. Someone was just like, well, I don't think Melvin's going to be pressing any charges. So that makes him just a fan. And I'm like, no, it just makes him a douchebag. Yeah. That
was his category in high school.
Douchebag. Yeah. Guy most likely to harass Mike Tyson on a plane. That was his little title there.
Exactly.
It blows my mind. So yeah, I hope Mike Tyson doesn't have any charges because like that was the example of F around and find out. And he found out real quick. And just like his face when he's like looking, I guess that's his friend who was recording, like his face, and it's just like all copies. He's like, I can't believe Mike Tyson hit me.
Yeah.
Really? Is it that surprising?
Man, people are weird. Do you think? Yeah, here we go. This is how a hot take artist would have pitched this story. Do you think Mike Tyson felt emboldened to punch this man because of what Will Smith was allowed to do at the Oscars, Tom?
I'll take you one further, Brandon Perna. Turns out that this guy, Melvin, was a fan of none other than Jake Paul, and this was all an elaborate ruse to get Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul on pay-per-view.
Wow, damn.
Now that's how you spin it.
Boom.
Done. Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, September 14th, live on pay-per-view.
Wow.
I don't know.
I just want Jake Paul to fight like a real boxer in his fight. One of the good ones. Fight a really good boxer right now.
Like you.
Yeah, for $1 million, I'd fight him.
Yeah, why not? But you have to survive 3 rounds.
Oh, I could survive.
You're just gonna run. Like, my stamina is godly.
Yeah, I would quit drinking. And I would just be working on ducking, diving, and cardio every day. And he would get tired of chasing me.
That's it.
Like, I would throw 0 punches in that fight, by the way.
You'd be like Spider-Man versus Bone Crusher.
Yeah.
That's it. By the way, I think
Bonesaw.
Trayvon Burks. Oh yeah, Bonesaw. I'm so sorry. It's Bonesaw. I'm so
did
sorry.
I just correct you on a wrestling thing?
Wow. You corrected me on a nerdy thing. I think Trayvon Burks, by the way.
Nerd.
Wow. I literally just got. Yep. Oh, it's true, Jesse. That's true. Wow. It's Bonesaw. Last 3 minutes with Bonesaw. That's played by Macho Man Randy Savage. Rest in peace.
Bonesaw.
Wow.
Every time I tried to do that, my tickles my throat.
I used to, this is coming now rich from someone who's now vegan, but I used to buy Slim Jims just so I could be like Macho Man Randy Savage. Because those commercials made it look so good. Snap into a Slim Jim.
Yeah. I like that that's what you did instead of trying to lift weights.
Yeah, no, that was like, I want to be like Macho Man. I'm going to eat these beef sticks from a gas station.
That's like marketing working perfectly.
Accurate. That's 100% accurate. Could I lift weights and look more like Macho Man? Absolutely. Nope. I'm going to eat the beef sticks from the gas station. That's it.
Freaking Slim Jim.
That's it. Very high in sodium. Very high.
Oh, yeah.
So there's another story going on, which I was not aware of, but I'm so glad that you are tuned into this world, Brandon Perna, about Von Miller and wieners. Yeah.
Now, I don't know, like I feel like 4 or 5 years ago, there was a Von Miller sex tape that was leaked.
That's it. Bone Crusher Hogan. That's why. Okay.
Oh,
that's why.
Wow.
Okay. You just got double nerded.
Yeah.
So we're both right. We're both correct. Thank you, Uncultured. Appreciate that.
Okay. So Von Miller sex tape years ago, and I think Von Miller had to put the kibosh on that. And then, I don't know, 2 years ago, there was some local drama between Von Miller and his girlfriend at the time here in the Colorado area. So there have been some things, but now Von is being sued for allegedly sending explicit photos to 2 celebrities in a revenge porn lawsuit. So basically what happens, the lawsuit claims that in 2020, a message was sent. They don't reveal who the celebrities are. Pardon my language. Quote, "This the bitch you want? You can have her, dog." And that text was accompanied by some explicit photos of Vaughn and somebody. So
that's no good.
The woman is suing Vaughn for sending out these photos of her allegedly to, I don't know, maybe some other gentleman she was courting, if you will. And
that's no good.
It's just unfortunate. I don't know if it's true or not. Obviously, there's a process to play out there, and I will never, I'll never criticize one of my own until I know for sure it happened. Will I give Von Miller more leeway than somebody else? Yes. If this is true, is that bad? Yes. But they're seeking, basically, they want money for this, and that the court rule that Vaughn can no longer send out any of her photos, which that obviously seems fair.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's kind of the point there. But something to keep your eye on, I guess. I feel like this will be settled, but I would say Vaughn has not had great luck with women off the field. And maybe there's just a little bit of a pattern there. I don't know. Or maybe Vaughn's involved with people who are trying to take advantage of him. Either one of those things could be true. But it's another weird story. I found it. The internet provides.
That's bad. That's the hot take here. That's bad. If that's true, that's bad.
Oh, yeah.
That's no, because they have, I mean, it depends on what state he was in too, right? Because then there's like revenge porn laws that prohibit this exact kind of thing.
It's a messy thing.
Yeah, that's no good. Okay. All right. Well, I guess you'll keep us updated on that.
Yeah. You want some more juicy sex-based news?
Absolutely.
Here we go, Tom. Earl Thomas wants to resurrect his career. So
right after Easter.
Earl, now 33 years young, last played for the Ravens in 2019. Why did Earl's career abruptly stop? Well, he was a defensive back, and once you get over 30, your career can end at any time. But also, if you recall, in the 2020 offseason, Earl was held at gunpoint and knife point by his wife, who walked in on him and his brother in some sort of sex situation at an Airbnb and confronted him. The Ravens, of course, have like a no tolerance domestic violence policy. And even though Earl Thomas was the one where his wife
victim, yes,
was the victim, they cut ties with him. He has never found his way back onto an NFL roster. But I saw that he wanted to get back in, and I was like, oh yeah, I totally forgot about that crazy situation where he was cheating on his wife at I thought it was a hotel, but I guess an Airbnb with his brother and women. So I don't know if they were all in the same room, they're in separate rooms, but that's the story. But the point is, Earl wants back into the NFL. So it is football news. It is football news.
Okay. That's a I forgot that it was like for a few years ago, like that was that insane story that I was like, oh, what's going on with Earl Thomas? Yep. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think that's going to be a very much an uphill climb considering just his age alone and just how he hasn't played football in a while. So
I think like it's so hard once you've kind of been out of the game for a year after 30 and you want to keep playing defensive back. That's a tough spot.
Yeah.
But 33, like you think, okay, maybe he's got a year or two and he can be sort of, I don't know, it's like a box type safety. Depends where he is athletically.
Yeah. Interesting. I'd be interested to see if he could try to make a comeback. I don't know what teams are going to be like, yeah, let's go and get this guy, but we can try. All right. Let's talk about a little bit some draft stuff, Brandon Perna. I want to talk about Deebo Samuel for a hot second here because I did a whole episode about if the Packers should get him. And basically I ruled like, would I be happy? Sure. Are we going to? No. One, because the 49ers aren't going to trade for him. And two, he's going to be costing a lot of money. And three, he also doesn't want to play. It's reported that he doesn't want to be a running back anymore, which what makes him so good. He is a good wide receiver, don't get me wrong, but it is his versatility. I mean, he had 8 touchdowns on the ground. He had, I think, over 300 yards just on the ground last year. So the thing is, as the Deebo news is coming out, Deebo going after Adam Schefter, and it's like, oh, this guy said, what is it, that he didn't want to live in California? Like that was the issue. So Adam Schefter getting dunked on, we'll always appreciate. But
Adam's my guy. Colorado.
No.
Go Shefty.
No.
Except when you do the bad stuff.
Except when you do the bad stuff. Yeah. There's starting to be like trade rumors that are coming out. And by the way, speaking of trade rumors, Kyler Murray apparently not getting traded, or at least that's what the Cardinals are saying. And Kyler Murray saying that Arizona's home. So we'll see. But Deebo, these trade rumors are coming out about how much it would take for the 49ers to actually trade Deebo. And the numbers are insane. Like, what
shit crazy.
I want a transition of you doing that.
We really got to step up our production.
We really do. Like, you just this is the batshit crazy take. Like, I think that would be that would be it. So there's rumors out there that, first of all, he wants like a top 10 pick, like top 10, top 15, right? The 49ers, they want that. Or multiple picks. I saw like multiple firsts that are late. And I'm like, why would you do that ever? And I think at the same time, while there's a lot of people who are like, oh, anybody who's anybody would want Deebo Samuel, I think there's a limited amount of teams that could actually, one, have the draft capital to trade for him, and then two, be able to afford that contract the way that it's going to be. And like it, all signs point toward the Jets. Like the Jets are like in a perfect position. If they wanted to trade like the number 10 that they got from Seattle, be like, here you go, like trade number 10 and then decide to pay out, they could, and they get an established wide receiver instead of going after a guy like Drake London or Jameson Williams, etc. And having that unknown, that would make the most amount of sense. But other than that, I don't know what team is going to pay that. But do you think that's the point? And the 49ers are basically setting like such a king's ransom so that it's like, hey, we're not trading you.
Yeah. I mean, that could be their tactic for sure. They don't want to lose him. And if they offered him 19 million per year and he's like, no, I want 25, then this is probably just a way to get them to meet somewhere closer in the middle there.
Sure.
And I think it also depends on if and what they can get for Jimmy Garoppolo too. Like, they're probably like, they gave up a lot to get Trey Lance. So if they're going to get rid of Deebo, then they need to get the compensation for it. The problem is like Devontae Adams, you got the 22nd pick and pick 53. Tyreek Hill, the 29th pick and pick 50. So if you've got a top 10, 15 pick, I feel like you just give up that one pick for Deebo Samuel and your it has to be wide receiver.
Yeah.
Multiple like first rounders, like you're asking for more value than two receivers who I think are better than Deebo Samuel and Tyreek Hill and Devontae Adams. They just have a longer track record of doing it. You could argue Deebo's younger. He just had his best season and his best production is still ahead of him. But like the other caveat there is one of those teams, a top 15 pick with the need at wide receiver. Why are you looking at Deebo as more valuable than having one of the top picks in this draft? Right? It's almost like you have to be sitting in a spot like the Jets at 10.
Yeah.
And the guy you have, or the two guys you have as comparable to Deebo are off the board.
Sure.
And then you're like, okay, well, we can give away this 10th pick and then get Deebo Samuel. Like, I don't think you're going to give that away before you start to see how the draft falls. So I think this will be a draft day trade if it does happen, even though maybe San Francisco would like to get it worked out before then.
Well, that's the thing too. I think it's just the certainty, right? Because we could be like, oh yeah, Jameson Williams is going to be really good. Drake London's going to be really good. But we have no idea. Nobody has any idea. Aiden Hutchinson might be a bust. Nobody knows, right? And I think that with that certainty, you go, okay, Deebo has had, like, his rookie year was good. He had over 800 yards. Last year was obviously very, very good. I just look at it because talking to Coleman, he's like, there's 3 Deebo Samuels in this draft right now, right? And they're like, Traylon Burks is up there too. Yeah. Shakir is up there. Like, those guys are on there. But I don't even feel comfortable if you're actually talking about $25 million a year. Just the amount of draft, I say screw it and be like, yeah, like, let's take a shot on the draft. Like, let's try it.
Shut up, Aaron.
God, Chargers. Herbert needs someone to throw. Doesn't Herbert have 2 guys to throw to? They just pay Mike Williams $1 gajillion.
Damn mouth, Aaron.
Which, by the way, that Mike Williams deal is looking better and better.
Yeah,
daily. I don't see it. I really see it being the Jets, and that's it. Like, the Texans, I don't see it because it makes no sense for them to get a superstar at wide receiver who's not going to play running back, and they don't have anybody. It's like, okay, cool.
That's why it makes sense for the Texans. I think
we're going to carry this bloated contract for years, and he's going to maybe help us win one more game.
I mean, I don't know. I think, like, look, the Texans are a bad organization. They had so many just one-year players last year. But I think Brandon Cooks and Deebo Samuel is a nice pairing for Davis Mills, who I think has the potential to be a decent quarterback. Like, I like that move for the Texans, which is why they'll probably not do it. They have the money to pay him. And that's the thing about the Texans and the Jets. They got quarterbacks on rookie deals. If you want to overspend on some skill positions now, it's the time to do it. So, yeah, the Jets and the Texans have the capital. They have the money to pay Deebo. If I'm angry at Deebo in the 49ers, I pull the trigger with the Texans.
I mean, there is that Jets.
That's the thing. Jets with Robert Saleh. There's a good relationship there. But again, they kind of hit on Elijah Moore last draft. I don't know how highly they value that position to give up, spot 10. But I would like to see Deebo go to the Jets. I would like to see Zach Wilson have everything he needs to succeed, because I don't know if Zach Wilson, he's a quarterback I'm just confused about.
Correct.
He looked so bad.
When he came back from injury, he was a bit better.
But he looked good at times too. It was just never sustained. And I just want to see him, I want to see the young quarterback succeed. And I think adding another weapon kind of helps that. Deebo, Braxton, and Elijah Moore. That's a nice trio of receivers there for the Jets.
Denzel Mims is just hanging out there,
Mims hanging out could be good. Their line maybe gets healthy, but
Mekhi Becton not showing up to voluntary workouts either.
Wow.
Well, and that's not to go on a tangent, but that's the Giants too. And we talked about this on Clickbait for a hot second, but Kadarius Toney, another guy, goes the first round last year, has 0 touchdowns, dealing with injuries, and they really just didn't know how to utilize him. Also, not showing up to voluntary workouts, and you have a brand new head coach, and he doesn't have the playbook yet. I feel like that's a big swing and a miss. That's not what you should be doing. I feel like that. I just feel like as a young player, that doesn't help out at all. And I mean, no. I don't know. I know Scooter's messing around, but there's no way that he's oh, I just hate this organization and I don't want to be here after a year. And he's I'm just going to kind of just play out my contract and then just piss off and hopefully go to a better team that's going to utilize me that. I feel like that is not the way to go about it, because no team is going to pay you any kind of money to actually. You've
got to produce to be coveted.
Correct.
Yeah. And I think it's a big mistake on his part, having a new offensive minded head coach, a guy who got really great production out of the Bills offense. It's oh, this is a chance for me to really showcase my talent, and I should be doing everything to make that happen. And I know the first voluntary workout thing isn't a huge deal, but it's kind of a big deal with the new head coach, a new regime, and a second-year player. And right now, the Denver Broncos, in contrast, guys are excited to show up with new head coach Nathaniel Hackett, with Russell Wilson being there. There's so much positive energy about these first workouts coming around. It's just, you got to take, it happens a lot though. There's this adjustment from college to the NFL where guys who are really, really good in college and maybe were really, really good based pretty much just on their athletic skills, where they worked hard, but not NFL level hard. And then making that switch to be the best when you're already working against the best. Some guys get it, some guys don't. Some guys, it just takes a little bit of time. And it's kind of a critique Malik Willis has had on him heading into the draft, where the reason he left Auburn was because he wasn't putting in the work, and that's why he lost the starting job there to freshman Bo Nix. And based, though, on this whole offseason cycle, the combine, he was pretty open about it, said, he didn't put in the right amount of effort. And that's why, in addition to his raw talent, I think teams are high on him, because they look at a guy who kind of realized he needs to put in more work and effort to be great. And maybe, I don't know anything about Kadarius Toney, but that's not showing up kind of gives that impression. And you're right, it's not the best look.
Yeah. I mean, because just talking to players and they talk about the amount of work that goes into it. And that's just what you can control. You can't control the injuries. You can't control the team that you're on. You can't control a ton of other stuff. But when you have something in front of you that you could actually control of this is the effort that I put in, you have to go 100%, unless you are a freak athlete and you just don't have to. You know what I mean? And if you're oh, I can make that play anyway. I really don't have to put in that level of work. But I gotta be honest, Kadarius Toney, based off what I've seen so far, I mean, there's nobody that's saying that he's elite right now. Could he be? Sure. But
no.
but this is not, it's not a good look.
Yeah, nobody's even talking about him except us right now.
Correct.
And it's not in a positive manner.
No, it's not. It's not in a positive way.
The only time I hear about Kadarius Toney is because freaking Adam and Scooter are on Clickbait, and he He's played for both of their teams.
Real quick before we start comparing, so yes. And by the way, didn't catch it. I caught mine. I caught two.
Oh, you started a trend, Tom.
I caught two.
I like the idea of Kurt Benkirk just missiles footballs at fans.
He calls them piss missiles. Yep.
He got a shout out on McAfee yesterday too.
Yes, he did. Love me some Kurt Benkirk.
I've gotten a shout out on his show too, by the way.
You've gotten a couple things on the Pat McAfee show.
Wasn't positive, but
it wasn't a good thing. But hey, your name came out of their mouth, so
I'm gonna
take it when you can.
I'm gonna get a senator to say my name too.
What are you gonna do? All right, that's odd. Can we still go to Rainbow Kitten Surprise before you do it?
Oh, yeah. Don't worry.
Okay, cool. Real quick, before we start doing the comparisons for the draft boards, I have a feeling that there are a number of pretty decent sized trades that could happen next week.
Yeah.
Like you're looking at good God, Baker Mayfield. Again, the Steelers coming out and say, like, well, at least like it's reports that the Steelers, if he got cut, Mayfield, they would sign him the next day, which yeah, you have Mitch Trubisky as your starting quarterback. I think that makes sense that you would go and potentially bring in Baker Mayfield at least to compete in training camp.
Aren't they like the same QB though, kind of? Except Mitch is maybe a little more athletic.
I want to see Baker Mayfield come back from an injury and see how he plays. Like I want to see
how
he works this year. I don't know. Like I think that there's been flashes of Baker Mayfield when he's looked really, really good. I also, to his credit, I think that there has been no consistency in terms of coaching personnel that's been around him. That I'd like to see that. Like you just glue your hand to a part of them. You choose.
Shoulder.
What'd you say?
Shoulder.
Yeah, the shoulder.
No sexual harassment.
Nope, no sexual harassment. Just a shoulder, like a loving papa. Like you're just like putting. It's just like I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
And they're like, thank you. And it doesn't come off.
What's really sweet is my daughter, now like at 20 months old, she'll rub my shoulder sometimes. She'll be sitting there with me and then she'll just start rubbing my shoulder, and it is the sweetest, most adorable thing, and it melts my heart whenever it happens.
I saw something on the internet where this small little child was very happy whenever she heard her dad come home, and she would scream at the top of her lungs, "Dada." And then like when like mom came home, she's like, "Oh." I was like, is that what happens in the Perna household? Like,
yeah,
you come up from the basement and it's like, oh,
yeah, she'll yell at me from upstairs. She'll just be like, "Dada! Dada!" And then I yell back. The thing is, she doesn't know when to stop. It's like, okay, yeah, the game's over, and she'll just keep doing it, and I just got to stop responding.
Yeah.
She's in a phase, though, where she's like trying to assert her dominance. So sometimes she'll favor me, sometimes she'll favor Jess. And it's mostly just about getting what she wants. So it's like whoever goes to help her first, she's like, "Nah," and points at the other person. And then it's actually
it's a power play.
It's really annoying, but most of the time she's very cute.
So that means you both just have to offer your help at the same exact time.
Yeah, it's like whichever one try, or like it's like whenever somebody's trying to do something, like in the kitchen, she needs that person's attention, even though the other person's like playing with her. It's like, you. Oh wait, that's insulting me. I can call you a.
You can't do that. Shout out to Jess.
Okay.
But yes, so big trades. I think so. Baker Mayfield could finally move, and I don't even know what the trade value is. Like, are the Browns just gonna be like, hey, we just want something for this draft because it makes sense for them just so they can get some compensation that they could actually use this year. They already just traded away the farm for Deshaun Watson. Yeah. So now it's like, hey, even if we get a fourth for him, okay. Yeah. Because I feel like the Browns right now, they do not have any leverage whatsoever because every team in the NFL knows that they want to get rid of Baker Mayfield. They don't okay. So yeah, I'll give you a fourth for him. No? Okay, cool. You keep him. We'll rock and roll with what's in the draft.
Well, the Browns have They have a second round pick at 44, 2/3 and a fourth right now. So they're actually in an all right position. But if you could add another third round pick or something for Baker,
package those things, baby. You could trade back up into the first if you really wanted to.
Yeah, that's not bad. But yeah, it's the longer they wait, unless it's like depreciating.
Yeah.
Unless they have the balls to just hold on to him, and the seasons you got preseason and somebody gets hurt and has a need for quarterback, and suddenly they're willing to pay for Baker, or you're really like, hey, we don't know if Deshaun Watson's going to play for half the season, and we want you on the. If they can convince him to play, I don't think he will. But
yeah, that's the thing. Will he even? I don't think that he would even play for them. He's just like, screw you guys. Like, I'll sit.
Yeah,
I'll sit and never touch the ball again for the Browns.
That's, I think, to be fair to the Browns, it's like, oh, now you'll sit Baker, even though you wouldn't sit when you were hurt.
See, but I don't think that's on Baker. Like, again, like, that's an adult in the room conversation. It's like, hey, that's when coaching comes in. Is if you're saying that Baker, like, you want an adult, well, sometimes you got to be the adult, right? Like, that's what it is. So I don't think it makes any sense to put that on Baker. Because, like, I think a lot of players, and like even Antonio Brown spoke about this. A lot of players, right? There'll be some that'll be like, hey, I don't want to risk injury. And then there'll be some like, nah, screw it. Like, I'm playing through it. I mean, look at Brett Favre. Good God. Guy played with like broken thumbs, like everything. Yeah. Right. And I'm not trying to say like it's a matter of toughness or anything like that. What I'm saying is that Baker Mayfield playing last year was a detriment to the Browns organization. Like, it didn't do them any better to send him out there injured because he was just turning the ball over and it wasn't good. And I think it spoke volumes that last game against the Steelers, it was at week 17, when they pulled Nick Chubb, when they were getting destroyed, they pulled Nick Chubb, but they didn't pull Baker. Like, I think it just shows where their value was. Like, Nick Chubb is like, oh, he's our guy. And like Baker, oh yeah, who cares if like his shoulder's falling off? Like, and again, I'm not saying Baker Mayfield like doesn't get any blame for it. Right. But I think if you were to take the high horse of like, we want an adult at QB, well, then you need to be an adult and say, listen, Baker, you're sitting. Because isn't that the whole idea of what a head coach is supposed to do? And be like, yeah, no, like, you're sitting. There's no conversation here. You're sitting.
Well, they got to trade him then, Tom.
Yeah.
It's just
get something out of him.
QB need out there. There's not a lot of QB need.
I think the issue is like, they don't want to see him go to the Steelers. Like, they don't want him going to a division rival. So like, you have to trade him. And then it's like, okay, well, you have Seattle, right? They're a potential. And then you have maybe the Panthers if Robbie Anderson, runs away.
Yeah. Like, well, dude, that's like, they're contradicting themselves. Trade him to the Steelers. You got Deshaun Watson. You shouldn't be scared of Baker Mayfield going to the Steelers unless you think he's pretty good. And maybe you shouldn't have given up everything for Deshaun Watson then. So just trade him, cowards. Trade him to the Steelers. Get something out of it. And freaking sack up. Beat him with your new QB.
Yep.
Cowards.
Again, I just think that the teams, the Panthers, the Seahawks, are in positions to draft QBs. They don't need Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
And so because of that, the Browns have zero leverage whatsoever. And the Steelers, they're like, we have Trubisky.
What if the Panthers were like, we'll take Baker Mayfield, but you have to give us one of your draft picks as well?
I mean, maybe. Maybe.
I think the Panthers are a huge wild card in this draft.
Yes.
The Panthers are a huge wild card. The Saints are a huge wild card. I just don't know.
The Saints potentially, again, whether they're going to trade up, I think they trade up for a tackle. I don't think they do it for a QB. Unless they're in love with somebody and they're like, yes, like, that is our guy. Like, if they're like Malik Willis all day.
Well, it's hard too because Sean Payton's not there.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like,
so we don't know.
If Sean Payton was there, I'd be like, oh, they could take Kenny Pickett. They could take Malik Willis. Like, I could see both of those guys succeeding in their offense. Like, to me, Kenny Pickett could play the QB position a lot like Drew Brees did. But I think Sean Payton kind of got bored with Drew Brees, especially as Drew Brees' arm declined. That's why they insert Taysom Hill into that offense, because I think Sean Payton's just like, let's jazz this up. You get a guy like Malik Willis with Sean Payton, all of a sudden you can do a lot with your offense. But he's not there. So I don't know. I don't know what their plan is, how they view quarterbacks with Dennis Allen. Like, it's crazy to me.
I feel like if you're the Saints, though, you're kind of in a great position because let's just say that there's a run, right? Like the new NFL draft today. Like saying there's like 4 that are going in the first round. There's a run on QBs. We completely read this wrong. A whole bunch of teams are like, you know what? No, we really like these guys. Let's go out and get them, right? If you're the Saints and there's no QBs left for you, you still have 2 great picks in the middle of the first round. It is pushed everybody down, including tackles. You can get a tackle. You could get a premium wide receiver right at the spot that you're at. Or you could trade up and potentially go get the tackle or go get the QB that you want. Right. So I feel like they're in a win-win situation because I'm praying that there's a run on QBs. I want it so bad. Like, I want us all to be so wrong.
Donka. Shane.
Yes.
Darling.
Yes.
Well, I guess, okay, so I think why a run on QBs could easily happen and 4 could go in the first round is because a bunch aren't going to go top 10, right? Like, well, maybe 2 go top 10, maybe just 1, possibly none. So there's like the value in that, hey, as a team, we like this quarterback, and trading into the 10 to 20 mark or even the very back end of the first round makes a lot more sense than if we were in this position and we had to try to trade up into the top 10 picks.
Dude, Maurice Jones-Drew, his mock today is 4 in the top 10. He literally...
Well, he's a running back.
Yeah, he goes... Hold on. What he said was, Panthers, the first guy off the board, Panthers, they pick Kenny Pickett. The Falcons go Malik Willis. The Seahawks go Ritter. And the Saints go Corral. They trade up with the Jets.
Wow.
Well,
that's actually not that crazy.
I don't think there's a snowball's chance in hell that they trade up and their guy is Matt Corral. They're going to trade up with the Jets and be like, yeah, we can't wait.
I think they could just sit where they are and get him.
That's what I'm saying. Because again,
they might have to jump Washington. Washington could be
Washington. I was just about to say Washington's the other team that like is in play for it, right? You do. Yeah. If you go through the teams that could actually pull the trigger here and be like, yep, let's get a QB. You do have the Lions, though. I've been very outspoken about that. Yep. You do have the Lions. The Texans could, but I don't think they will, right?
Giants, I don't think the Texans are.
Giants should. But the Panthers, they're another team that definitely could. Yep. The Falcons could. They wanted to. Again, I don't think they should, but Seahawks, Saints, Commanders.
Yeah.
Right? So like six teams could potentially take a QB. That's what we're looking at.
Yeah, it's so unpredictable. Like, we don't know. Usually, this team will take a quarterback. This team will take a quarterback.
And if it was a very strong QB, like if it was next year's class, I could see all of this happen. Like, I could see those guys going in the top 10 and like 100% people are going to be trading up. And I think there's a little bit of like 5D chess going on. Because I also think if you're the Eagles, like you and trading that first round pick and like getting it just for like next year, you're kind of keeping it in the back of your mind. You're like, okay, well, we'll give Jalen Hurts another opportunity to see if he's our guy. And if he's not, we'll be in position to potentially go and get somebody next year.
That's exactly what I said in my draft day trades video that nobody watched. But it's like Philly could trade one of their first round picks in this draft and get a first rounder for next year, and they have 3. So they don't even have to tank with Jalen Hurts, right? They could, because I also said they're in the NFC East. They're going to accidentally win too many games to be in position to draft the QB they want. But if they have 3 first rounders and can get up to spot 2 or 1, depending on who lands there and who does and doesn't need a QB, that's how you play for the future while not alienating your current quarterback. And you can still draft in the first round and thank you, Nick, and give him a piece to help him next season. And I think Jalen Hurts did enough to earn a fair shot this coming season. But yeah, that's it. The other unpredictable thing about the first round of the draft is too many damn teams have 2 picks in this draft.
Correct.
There's 8 teams who have 2 picks in the first round, meaning they can do anything they want. Not anything, but they can do a lot in terms of moving, getting more capital later.
Yes.
And what we don't know is every team's big board. We don't know where they have guys graded and valued, where they think they can get certain players. And they don't even know until it starts to shake down. But the Giants, 2 top 10 picks, they could take one on a QB, but they could trade one of those and get even
so
more
hard for them
players to build around.
Screw this up. It is it's going to be so difficult for them to screw it up. And I would laugh so hard if they do. So hard. Please.
Oh, yeah. Phantasm ASMR watch because he's in the video. Patreon member now, guest spotting, giving me draft info. And honestly, I would say Phantasm probably knows more about football than me. Very solid football knowledge. So
was it all in ASMR?
It was red ASMR-ish for sure.
The Giants picking the 2 in the top 10. Like that kind of ASMR?
Yeah. Not that drastic for the guest spot, but he's got the vids.
Okay. All right, let's take a look at some boards.
All right.
Let's do it.
We want a consensus big board. Here we go.
Consensus big board.
Oh, yeah. Look at all those ads. Damn it.
Look at the ads. Wait, where's your ad blocker, Perna? Come on.
I don't have one.
You block Origin. Do it.
You block Origin?
Thank you, Uncultured. Thank you. Yeah. It's an extension on Chrome. You don't watch any YouTube ads anymore either.
Whoa.
I recommend it to everybody. That's
how I make money. So
that's how I make money too. And
I watch my own videos to get that ad rev.
True.
Brandon, Google has noticed you watched this video 7,000 times.
You're like someone had to watch it.
Rules.
It's true.
All right.
All right. I think Aiden Hutchinson definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is basically a culmination of consensus big board, 76 big boards, 451 first round mock drafts, 518 based boards. Now, I learned though that not even all the consensus big boards are the same.
Correct.
But this is I think probably a fair beat on how these guys are valued. Doesn't mean this is where they're going to go, but it paints a solid picture, and I thought we could look at it instead of doing like more mock drafts. We can just kind of look at the guys that are atop this. Didn't mean to interrupt you, Tom.
No, it's all good. You explained it perfectly. So yeah, this is basically taking like the aggregate of all the big boards or a lot of the big boards that are out there and basically saying, here's where these guys are valued. So like you see an Aiden Hutchinson, like #1 consensus usually. I mean, he's arguably the favorite that the Jaguars are going to do. Do you think anybody trades with the Jaguars to get #1?
No, I mean, not in this draft. If there was a #1 QB, yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, I was trying to look at like teams that traded up for non-quarterbacks, and the Bengals did that for Kai Jana Carter, who was a running back who got injured. It was a huge bust in the late 90s. And who was the last one? The Rams traded up for, who was the tackle? Damn it, really good tackle. Rams trade for tackle. Damn it, he's like a Hall of Famer.
I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you the Rams tackle Hall of Famer. But I'm very happy that I only see one wide receiver in the top 10. I want them to fall so far. So far.
Yeah, Orlando Pace. That's it. Sorry. Orlando Pace. I believe they traded up number 1 to get him. But okay, so you're talking about wide receivers, and you see only one going top 10, or only one ranked as top 10.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson.
Boom.
I think he has become the safe pick. It was Drake London, and then I think people are looking at the ankle and the workout, and they're like, oh, maybe he's a little too slow, like maybe there's that. Like, there's just he'll still go in the first round, but there's some doubt there. Jameson Williams coming off an ACL injury, that's his concern, right? If he didn't have the ACL thing, I think he's going in top 10 easy, but not Olave. He's looking at like top 15, definitely top 20. But Garrett Wilson, I think, really has emerged as like, hey, it's going to be tough to miss on him. Like, he just makes the most amount of sense. So, yeah, I could see him definitely going to the Jets at 10 if he falls to that point.
Yeah,
but
it's like, I don't think he will, though, right?
You think the Falcons?
He's rated as like the 10th best player on the consensus, but that, like, he's got Kyle Hamilton ahead of him still here in this ranking. And I don't think a team's going to look at a safety and value a safety over a wide receiver. Mm-hmm. So that's why, Garrett Wilson will go before Kyle Hamilton.
I don't know, man.
Like, you've got three edge players.
Yep.
Ahead of him. Are three edge players going to go top 10? There's a very good chance that happens.
Very good chance. Offensive tackle, same exact thing. I think, Cross could be definitely top 10 because you're looking at what? Look at Cross, Neal, Icky.
Yep. Yeah. And see, like, if tackle or edge, if one of those are heavy at top of the first round, you could see a fourth at that position go just because a team doesn't want to miss out on it, right?
Yeah.
So you're looking between 10 and 20. You've got Jermaine Johnson. The next tackle's a little bit further down, Trevor Penning. But I could see edge. I could see 4 edge players going like top 11. You know what I mean? Pretty easily.
Well, what's interesting,
there could be a run on receivers. I know you don't want to see that, Tom.
I think you're going to see that 10 through 20. But the interesting thing is, too, if the 49ers do wind up trading Deebo to the Jets, then I think you could even see, like, they need another big wide receiver, or do they replace Deebo? Because I think those are two different things. I think if you go, hey, we're going to like go get a Jameson Williams, we're going to get a Drake London, we're going to get, Wilson, but the guy who's most similar to Deebo would be Treylon Burks. He would be that guy that could literally just fill in for the Deebo role. So does Treylon Burks go super high just because he's fulfilling a need and it's such a niche thing that it's like, hey, we're getting rid of Deebo, but we're getting a guy who's much, much cheaper and can, basically do the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, because on their roster right now, the 49ers have George Kittle, of course. They got Brandon Ayuk, who started to play really well for him last year. Juwan Jennings. They brought in Ray McLeod. So it's not like losing Deebo would be big, but it doesn't mean they have to replace him with a pick for wide receiver, right? They could draft a different position. We're assuming they would use it on the receiver, but maybe they're like, hey, if we could get this, I don't know, like a defensive interior player to make our line crazy again. Maybe there's a corner they could really use a corner, San Francisco. And we can get another quality receiver, in the second round. That could happen as well.
Yeah.
But
I mean, what I'm looking at right now here, the Packers get Treylon Burks and they get Kenyon Green, who I also mocked to the Packers. I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with all that. Dotson going to the Packers. So many people are like, what about Dotson? He's not the prototypical guy. I don't think he goes in the first round to the Packers. There's no way. I don't think so. They're at 28. I don't think so.
Yeah.
This is an interesting board though. So this literally just takes everything. Pickens, I was talking to Coleman about this yesterday. He's like, I don't think Pickens lasts to 42. I think that he barely gets out of the first if he does. Yeah. Because the Lions literally are sitting here at 32. And if they get whoever they're going to get in their top 5, they could be like, all right, well, now we need a great wide receiver. Pickens would be a steal for them.
Yeah. So it's you got to look at it all of these guys say ranked here in the 40s and 50s. Their value can go up if their position gets run on early. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So this is just one consensus big board, though. There's another one that's different. Like, why is consensus different? Boom. So here's one. You got same guy at the top, Aiden Hutchinson. But we already have a different one in Evan Neal at 2, Kyle Hamilton at 3.
Yeah.
They don't have Thibodeau until 5 in this one. Ahmad Gardner at 6 is the same. They've got Stingley higher. So there's not even a consensus on the consensus, Tom.
I can't stress this enough. It would be so difficult for the Giants to screw up this draft.
Yeah.
They could get anchors on both sides of the field. Like literally just get a great edge, get a great tackle, and be on their way to completely like revamping their roster and making themselves so much better. But good God, it would be hysterical to watch them just completely fail. Just completely. And again, it's just like they have like all the picks that they want. Like they could do whatever they want. They're like, oh, okay, there's 3 guys on the board that we like. Great, we'll pick one. And then what? The other one goes and we still pick the other one.
Yeah. They're in a really great position. Except for their quarterback. Now,
Correct.
There's still a chance, like, because Daniel Jones has had some stretches of decent football, and there's a chance with Brian Dable, he plays better next year.
Sure.
But
can they please trade up? Like, can they please trade up to like number 2 for Malik Willis? Oh my God, please.
That would be crazy.
I would die laughing.
Man, the Lions just dropping back and taking those other 2 picks, and that would be great for Detroit.
They wouldn't get that much. Like they wouldn't get both of those picks. Like the value would be like too insane. But they would.
Let me look.
They'd run away. They'd get a lot.
Draft value chart. What would it cost?
Are we looking at the Jimmy Johnson one or
no? All right. So Detroit's that's 2,600 points for the second pick. The Giants at 5, that's 1,700, and at 7 is 1,500.
Yeah.
So there's about 500.
It's too much.
Too many points.
Could you imagine though? They trade up for a QB, but like it's not even Malik Willis. Like they just get like Carson Strong.
Well, I mean, Detroit could give them their 31st pick as well. So that's
the 32nd. Yeah,
get both of those picks, but.
That would be amazing. That'd be amazing.
Anyway,
the point is,
we don't know.
Ain't nobody know. And I'm very excited to actually see how this is going to play out because that means it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. So we'll be here though next week. 3 times, right? 3 times? 3 times next week.
Yeah, we got.
It'll be back to the full schedule. GPS Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Boom.
Little Friday morning draft recap. And then the week after that, Monday, when the draft's all done.
By the way, this coming Monday, we might be a little bit later in the day. So it might be
later, early next Monday.
We'll let you know probably like Sunday night, Sunday morning.
Yeah.
We'll let you know. But Perna, what do you got coming out?
Nothing.
Great.
My last video did so poorly. I'm like, screw it. People are tired of hearing about the draft. I think
they are. They really are.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, I'm just going to enjoy today, get some stuff done around the house. So go watch one of my old videos. I don't care. But I felt like my career might be ending yesterday.
I felt that this week.
But Tom had a dream.
I did.
That Amazon bought us.
That bought GPS.
Come get us, Amazon, yo Bezos.
Jeffrey Bezos. Yes.
We're for sale.
Yeah. Yeah, I had an interview with Brett Coleman yesterday. I think we were only supposed to talk for 20 minutes. We talked for an hour. And so if that's your speed, go check it out. I think it was a really good interview. And then Friday night Q&A tonight.
Hell yeah.
Nailed it. So, but folks, thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna. This is GPS. And you have been navigated.
And you've reached your